Today we'll diving into one of my absolute favorite topics, growing onions, and not just a few, but loads of them, all in a single container. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, you're going to love these tips. So grab a cuppa, settle in, and let's get growing. Now, if you love cooking and eating as much as I do, you know there's no such thing as too many onions. Onions are the backbone of so many delicious dishes, from hearty stews to fresh salads, and they add that unmistakable flavor and aroma to just about everything. Imagine having a steady supply of fresh, homegrown onions right at your fingertips, ready to be plucked whenever you need them. It's a game changer for any home cook. It's time to peel back the layers and expose my secret to growing onions. Over the years, I've experimented with all sorts of methods, and I've learned a thing or two about what really works. Today, I'm going to share my 5 top secrets that will help you grow a bumper crop of onions, even if you're short on space. These tips are tried and tested, and I promise they'll make a world of difference to your harvest. But before we do that, just a quick safety message. If you're going to have onions on a slice of bread or in a roll, make sure you put them underneath the sausage. Safety first, always. Trust me, it's the only way to keep your onions from sliding off and making a mess. Plus, the sausage juices soak into the onions, making every bite even tastier. It's a little tip from one Aussie to another, and it's guaranteed to improve your next barbecue. Right, with that out of the road, g'day, I hope you're as excited as I am to get started. There's nothing quite like the satisfaction of growing your own food, and onions are one of the easiest and most rewarding crops you can grow. Whether you've got a big backyard or just a small patio, you can grow a surprising amount of onions in a single container if you know the right techniques. I want to show you guys my 5 top tips on how to grow a ton of onions in a round raised garden bed such as this. We'll cover everything from choosing the right soil mix, to spacing your onions for maximum yield, to watering and feeding them just right. I'll also share some tricks for keeping pests at bay and making sure your onions grow big, healthy, and full of flavor. Even if you've struggled with onions in the past, these tips will set you up for success. I like to grow our own onions because there's something special about a freshly harvested crispy onion, and also we grow them without any chemicals at all, so they're organic, and I think that makes a big difference. Fresh and organic. When you pull an onion straight from the soil, you can smell that earthy sweetness, and the taste is just unbeatable. Plus, knowing exactly what's gone into your food, no pesticides, no nasties, gives you peace of mind and a sense of pride. It's healthier for you, and better for the environment too. Let's get into it. Grab your gloves, gather your supplies, and let's unlock the secrets to growing a bumper crop of onions in your own backyard. Whether you're growing for your family, to share with friends, or just for the joy of gardening, these tips will help you get the most out of your space and enjoy the freshest, tastiest onions you've ever had. Let's get started. First things first, if you want a cracking onion harvest, you've got to start by giving these onions a proper home. Think of it as setting up a cozy little oasis just for them, where they can stretch out, soak up the sun, and grow big and strong. The foundation of any great onion patch is the bed you plant them in, so let's make sure we get this right from the get-go. We're talking about the garden bed, the heart of the operation. Whether you're working with a raised bed, a traditional plot, or even large containers, the principles are the same. You want a spot that gets plenty of sunlight, at least 6 hours a day, because onions are sun lovers through and through. Pick a location that's not shaded by trees or buildings and make sure there's good air circulation to keep diseases at bay. Now, onions, they're not too fussy, but they do appreciate a bit of TLC. Give them a little attention and they'll reward you with plump, flavorful bulbs. It's all about setting them up for success right from the start. Take a moment to check your soil. If it's compacted or full of rocks, loosen it up and remove any debris. Onions like to send their roots deep, so the easier you make it for them, the better. What we're aiming for is fertile, free-draining soil. The ideal onion bed is rich, dark, and crumbly, almost like chocolate cake. If you squeeze a handful and it falls apart easily, you're on the right track. Good drainage is absolutely crucial. Onions hate sitting in soggy soil. If your garden tends to hold water, consider raising your beds a bit higher, or adding some sand to improve drainage. You don't want those roots waterlogged, otherwise it's root rot city, and nobody wants that. Root rot can wipe out your whole crop before you know it, so always err on the side of drier rather than wetter. If you're unsure, dig a small hole and fill it with water. If it drains within an hour, you're good to go. A good dose of compost is your best mate here. Compost not only feeds your onions, but also helps improve soil structure and drainage. Work in a generous layer, about 2 to 3 inches, right into the top of your bed. If you've got well-rotted manure, that's even better, but steer clear of anything too fresh, as it can burn those tender roots. It's like giving your soil a good feed, packing it with nutrients. Onions are hungry little things, and they'll soak up all the goodness you can give them. Mix the compost in well so it's evenly distributed, no clumps or dry patches. This will help your onions get off to a flying start and keep them growing strong all season long. Don't go overboard with the fertilizer, though. A balanced, slow-release fertilizer is perfect. Look for something with equal parts nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Sprinkle it lightly and mix it into the top few inches of soil. Too much fertilizer, especially nitrogen, can do more harm than good. Onions are like that mate who can handle their drink. A little goes a long way. They don't need a heavy hand, just a gentle boost to get them started. Overfeeding can lead to problems down the line, so stick to the recommended amounts on the package and resist the urge to add more. Too much nitrogen and you'll have all leaves and no bulbs. You want your onions to put their energy into growing big, juicy bulbs, not just loads of green tops. If you notice your onions getting a bit too leafy, ease up on the feed and let them focus on what matters most, the bulbs. Once you've got your soil sorted, a good layer of mulch is the way to go. Mulch helps keep the soil moist, stops weeds from taking over, and even keeps the soil temperature nice and steady. Straw, shredded leaves, or wood chips all work a treat. Just make sure the mulch isn't piled up against the onion stems. It's like tucking your onions in for the night, keeps the weeds at bay and helps retain moisture. Plus, mulch breaks down over time, adding even more organic matter to your soil. Just remember to top it up as needed, especially after heavy rain, or if it starts to look a bit thin. Now, when it comes to planting, whether you're sowing seeds directly or using seedlings, remember this: shallow is key. Onions don't like to be buried deep. If you're planting seeds, just press them into the surface and cover with a thin layer of soil. For seedlings, make a small hole and set them in so the base is just below the surface. Onions like to be just under the surface, peeking out at the world. This helps them establish quickly and start bulbing up as soon as the time is right. If you plant them too deep, they'll struggle to push through and you might end up with small, misshapen bulbs. You can always transplant seedlings later if you need a bit more space. Just be gentle with their roots and water them in well after moving. With the right bed, the right soil, and a bit of care, you'll be well on your way to growing the best onions you've ever tasted. So roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, and let's build that perfect onion oasis together. Right, now that we've got the bed sorted, let's talk timing. Planting at the right time is like catching the perfect wave. Do it right and you'll be riding a wave of delicious onions. Onions are cool season crops, which means they love those mild temperatures. Down here in my area, we like to get them in the ground around late March. That way they've got a good head start before the summer heat kicks in. But hey, I know not everyone lives in this beautiful part of the world. If you're up in the colder climates, spring is your go-to planting time. Just make sure those last frosts have done their thing before you get those babies in the ground. The key is to avoid those extremes. Too hot and they'll bolt, too cold and they'll sulk. We want happy onions, people. All right, let's talk onion varieties. This is where things get exciting. There's a whole world of onions out there, each with its own personality and flavor. First up, you've got your short day onions. These guys are perfect for those of us who don't get loads of sunlight. They're quick to mature and pack a punch of flavor. Then there are the long day onions. These fellas need a good 14 to 16 hours of daylight to reach their full potential. They're perfect for those long summer days up north. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try growing some red onions for that extra zing in your salads, or maybe some sweet onions for those epic burgers. Oh, and if you're feeling adventurous, why not give Egyptian walking onions a go? They're a bit different, but trust me, they're a whole lot of fun to grow. Now, here's where things get a little crazy. We're going to crowd those onions in. I know, it sounds counterintuitive, but trust me on this one. Crowding your onions actually increases your yield. It's like a mosh pit in there, but in a good way. The onions compete for resources, which makes them grow taller and stronger. Plus, a crowded bed means less space for weeds. And who wants to spend their precious time weeding when they could be out there enjoying a cold one? Not me. Now, I'm not saying you should plant them on top of each other. Just give them a bit of breathing room, maybe an inch or two apart. And if things start to get too crowded, you can always thin them out and enjoy some delicious spring onions. We've made it to the main event, the harvest. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, the culmination of all our hard work. Now you can harvest your onions at any time, depending on your preference. Young onions are great for salads and stir-fries, while mature onions are perfect for storage. But how do you know when your onions are ripe and ready? Well, it's all in the tops. When the tops start to naturally bend over and turn brown, that's your cue. It's like they're taking a bow after a stellar performance. And don't believe those old wives' tales about breaking the tops to make them bulb up. It's just not true. Just let nature do its thing. Once you've harvested your onions, leave them out in the sun for a few days to cure. This will help them last longer in storage. And if you've got a particularly impressive onion, why not save some seeds for next year's crop? And there you have it. What a fantastic harvest out of such a small-size bed. I'm really wrapped. It's honestly amazing to see just how much you can grow in a compact space when you put a little planning and care into it. When I first started this project, I wasn't sure how many onions I'd be able to pull from this little round bed, but as you can see, the results speak for themselves. It just goes to show that you don't need a huge backyard or a sprawling garden to produce a bountiful crop. With the right techniques, even a small patch of earth can yield a truly impressive harvest. Now, the next step is just as important as the growing itself. I'll place these beautiful onions on our homemade drying rack right out in the sun for about 3 to 4 days. This curing process is essential. It helps toughen up the skins and ensures the onions will store well for months to come. If you skip this step, you might find your onions don't last as long in storage, so don't rush it. Let them bask in the sunlight, turning them occasionally so they dry evenly. After a few days, you'll notice the outer skins become papery and the necks dry out, which is exactly what you want for long-term storage. So, those were my 5 top tips on how to grow a ton of onions in a small, round raised garden bed just like this. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned gardener, these strategies can make a world of difference. It's all about maximizing your space, choosing the right varieties, and giving your plants the care they need at every stage. I hope you found these tips helpful and that you're feeling inspired to give onion growing a go in your own garden, no matter how big or small it might be. Preparing the garden bed is the foundation of your success. Take the time to enrich your soil with plenty of compost and organic matter. Onions love loose, fertile soil that drains well, so don't be afraid to dig deep and break up any clumps. A well-prepared bed gives your onions the best possible start and helps them develop those big, healthy bulbs we all love. Next, timing is everything. Plant your onions at the right time for your climate, usually in early spring or late autumn depending on your region. Choose the right type of onion for your needs, whether it's a sweet variety for salads or a strong flavored one for cooking. And don't be afraid to crowd them in a bit. Onions can handle being planted close together, which is perfect for small beds. Just make sure they have enough room to swell up as they mature. And of course, knowing when to harvest is key. Watch for the telltale signs. The tops will start to yellow and flop over, and the bulbs will push up out of the soil. That's your cue to gently lift them out and let them dry. Don't leave them in the ground too long, or they might start to rot or split. Do all those things right and you'll grow a ton of onions just like I can. There's nothing quite like the satisfaction of harvesting your own homegrown produce, especially when you see a basket overflowing with onions that you nurtured from tiny seedlings. It's a real testament to what a bit of effort and patience can achieve. If you liked this video, please give it a big green thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support means the world to me and helps me keep making more gardening videos like this one. If you have any questions or want to share your own onion growing experiences, drop a comment below. I love hearing from fellow gardeners. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you're feeling inspired to get out into your own garden and give onion growing a try. Whether you're working with a big backyard or just a few pots on a balcony, there's always room to grow something delicious. Bye for now and happy gardening. Now, after all that hard work, it's time to enjoy the fruits of our labor. There's nothing better than cooking up a classic sausage sanga and piling on those sweet caramelized onions you grew yourself. It's the perfect way to celebrate a successful harvest and share the results with family and friends. Plus, you know exactly where your food came from and what went into it. Can't beat that for peace of mind.